I was raised in a Christian home by two Christian parents, great home life, and we went to church and Sunday school every Sunday. I totally enjoyed it, loved hearing about the stories about Jesus and singing the songs, and yeah, I totally loved it. When I was 12, things started to change. I saw things at church and experienced things that you shouldn't experience at church. My parents would have to drive me to Sunday school, come back for church. So a man, elder from our church, offered to drive me every Sunday morning, and you know, he was looked up to, respected, and he would bring me to church for Sunday school, and we would be the first ones there in the basement, and that's when he started to molest me, pretty much, and this went on for like a year. Yeah, and I tried to, you know, get away or whatever, but I couldn't because there was nobody there, and it was just us two, and he just kept doing this every Sunday, and until finally he passed away, and then finally it stopped. Even though this experience happened when I was 12, I continued going to church, I think more to please my parents than anything. I did rebel quite a bit, stood in the driveway stomping, saying I'm not going, but my mom's like, you're going, you know, get in the car. So I went, and grudgingly a lot of times, but I never did tell them why. But I started, about 16, started to rebel more, because I just thought, you know, why go there? A bunch of hypocrites, and what do they know? And, you know, I was always a good girl and everything, but then when I was 17, I got pregnant, and my parents were upset, and then I had to go to meet the pastor because my parents said, you know, we decided to get married, and he told me I was a big disappointment. And he was very disappointed in me, and but he would marry us anyway, so we got married, and but we've been married happily ever since, so no, what did he know? I continued going to church because I had my daughter, and then I had my son, and I wanted them to know Jesus, and I even taught Sunday school for a few years, and but I just found it getting harder and harder, and I just started making more excuses, and finally I just gave up, and thought, you know, why bother with this? So I just totally gave up. So for the next 30 years, I didn't go to church. I tried a couple times, but it was sort of more of the same. You know, I'd go a few times, they were happy to see you and very nice, but then the hypocrisy came out, and so I just totally gave up. And then in January 2013, I was babysitting at my daughter's, and the Burlington Post came, and I saw this article on Starting Point, and I don't know why, but it just spoke to me. So in February, I started going to Starting Point regularly every Sunday. I was very excited to go, but I still had doubts. I thought, okay, this is, you know, the start of it. It starts good, but it always ends badly. So I was still very suspicious, and but I met with Pastor Mike, and we spoke a few times on it, and then one sermon he did on forgiveness, and that really spoke to me. So one day I was praying, asking God to help me forgive those who hurt me, and through him I was finally able to forgive, and I just felt a burden lifted, and a peace and contentment came over me that I haven't had in probably like 30 years. And then I just knew that I needed to follow Jesus, and I committed myself to him. I'm excited for what God has for me and the journey I have with him. And I can't wait to get baptized and see what God has in store for me. And I'm just very happy to proclaim that he's my Lord and Savior. Yeah. I don't know what else to say. I'm just very excited.